Good morning!
Good morning.
Is everybody fired up?
Yeah. You're in.
I literally got giddy just preparing because I love the book Think and Grow Rich. Are you guys familiar with it?
Yeah.
Yes. Sure? All right. Did you know that highly sexed people are the most efficient salespeople? It says it in the book. Don't get mad at me. It says it in the book. There's a chapter on sexual transmutation, which we're going to talk about. So I read that book at least once a year. At least once a year. It's just fascinating to me. All right. I figured you'd get a kick out of that. Is the market turning a little bit?
A little bit.
You guys feel that? There's a lot of excitement. I know it's harder than heck to get your offers accepted out there. But boy, it seems like we're off to a great start in 2013. I've been very, very encouraged. So today we're going to talk about Think and Grow Rich. I'm big into coaches and mentors and all that. I went to my top 3 mentors and I said, hey, if you could recommend one book that had the biggest impact on your life other than the Bible, what would that be? And they all said Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill. So, I mean, I could do 10 different talks on that because there's so many different chapters and it's fascinating. And I love it. Like I'll hear Tony Robbins, Joe Stumpf, Brian Tracy, all these big guys, you know, like the gurus. There's stuff out of that book. You know what I mean? So I really get a kick out of it because I know everybody steals everybody's stuff or whatever, but it's like I think a lot of it comes from that book. So we'll get into that a little bit more. I guess I should hand this out for you guys. Actually, I'll do this first. I had issues with my CD, so I only have 15 of these, but I think we have enough. This is called Master Salesperson. These are the latest core CDs. This is one of my all-time absolute favorites. Everybody get one? One more?
Yeah.
Thank you.
I have one.
Yeah, one more.
We've got some extras if we need them. You sometimes want to.
Yeah.
So, this is Rick Ruby, and he's talking about how to be a master salesperson, and he shares his story, how he started off in the furniture business as a salesperson. And it's fun to listen to. He's going to talk about the 4 parts of the sale. You guys know what they are? Step 1 for a sale is?
Initial contact.
Initial contact. Step 2 is? Build rapport.
Yeah.
Step 3 is? Huh?
Qualify?
Close. Step 4?
Referrals.
Follow up.
Follow up.
I'm going to work on you guys, okay? Memorize this stuff. Sales is sales is sales. So what he does in here, I love it because he's very direct. He pulls people up just like in here and they role play, and a couple of people just bomb. I mean, they just bomb. So it's fun to hear, right? I mean, you know, we're all making fun of everybody. But then he talks about what he does. I bet you I've listened to this over 10 times. It's even today, I'm preparing for these classes, I re-listen to the CDs, and I just pick out new stuff. And so it's cool. Last time I was listening to this, I forgot really how important it is to take a couple minutes to build rapport. Sometimes I get in a hurry and I just really want to jump in, let's sign the paperwork. And you do need to stop and say, hey, what's the best thing you like about this house? How's your family? Do you have any dogs or kids? Or you know what I mean? Where are you going to... You got bedrooms for the kid. I mean, really just take some time to do that and build a rapport is so key. Because will some hiccups probably come up during escrow?
Oh, yeah.
Gosh, I keep waiting for one to go smooth. Like I had one the other day, 20% down, golden credit, makes $1 million a year, you know. Oh, finally I can relax on this one. We all kinds of appraisal issues popped up. Come on. All right, questions on this? We might next time just talk about this CD. It's that good. So please listen to that. Let me know if you have any questions on it. We're going to get a little far out today, a little deep into thought. Is that okay? I call it woo-woo. All right? So a little bit of metaphysical type of stuff. Is that okay? We talk about the human brain a little bit?
Sure.
All right. I'm going to give you some tactics, but today's going to be more about the why and why we do what we do. Because we all know if you called 100 people a day, you make a bunch of money, right? So why don't we call 100 people a day?
Not necessarily.
We would. Okay. So here's some more handouts. What's that? You guys are cheating ahead of time. Huh?
Chris, what was great? Ask for the sale.
Chris, can I have one more?
Yes. I'm telling you, you got some nuggets this morning.
Thank you.
Okay. So, I want to be clear. Think and Grow Rich is not about money. Okay? It's a byproduct. You do what it says in here, you'll make a lot of money because it's a byproduct of doing what they do. And I just love some of this information. Okay. So, Andrew Carnegie hires this guy named Napoleon Hill. This was like in the 20s, okay? And he said, I want you, Carnegie was Mr. Bigwig, right? You've heard of Carnegie's and all that?
Yeah, they wrote How to Influence Friends and...
No, that's a different one.
Oh, that's...
I'm talking the Carnegie, like the steel mill guy. I mean, there was the Rockefellers, the Carnegies. This was like the big time guys who like formed our industry. He hires this guy Napoleon Hill, and he says, hey, I want you to go around and meet these top dogs. I know them all because we're all big hitters. They'll give you time. You meet with them, and I want you to come up with the traits of all these guys, what they do, and why they're successful. So he interviewed some people like Henry Ford, Thomas Edison. I mean, like some people, right? And he said, hey, what do you do? Why do you do? How do you do it? And he puts them all together in this book. All right? I mean, that's why, to me, you learn from others, right? We learn from others. So I was fascinated when with the concept behind this book. So he spent 20 years doing that. Okay? The object of the book is to learn the art of changing people's minds from failure consciousness to success consciousness. Acquire the ability to transmute the intangible thought impulse of desire into a physical counterpart. I know that's a little technical, but it's fast because think about it. We all get these thought impulses. Boy, I'd like to do this. But how do you transmute it into a physical counterpart, i.e. money, health, happiness? So today we're talking about much more than just our business life. It's really about our quality of our life. That make sense? Okay. So to start off with, and I think we all know this, it's all in our head, right? Are we clear? It's all our perception of what goes down. I'm constantly reminded of this. So we're going to do an exercise right off the bat. I want you guys to go to this page, your 3 biggest failures, business-wise. I want to hear about the personal one. Okay? I want you to write down your 3 biggest business failures. You screwed up a listing appointment. You had a, oh God, that's not even funny, Dave, but a deal, 4-hour timing that you lost a big commission, the deal fell out, the clients didn't get their property, whatever. 4 failures that you had in business where you screwed up. All right? If you don't have any,
You're not working.
I got like 20. You're not working, thank you. I got like 20 of them, okay? I want you guys to think about this. There's a method to this. You don't have to share them. I'm not going to call you out. If you want to share, you can. But what are some failures you've had in business? And maybe it was been prior to real estate. It doesn't have to be in real estate. But I mean some really good, juicy screw-ups. I'll give you guys a couple minutes. You're thinking, aren't you?
One of them was I picked the wrong loan person, did a horrible job.
Anything that's a failure. Now this is you. You can't blame the lender. You can't blame title.
Well, it was me, I picked the wrong lender.
You picked the wrong lender. That can be a big one. So in 1997, I'm driving over the bridge there coming out of West Sac about 3:30 on a Friday afternoon. And I get a phone call from a realtor named Carol Kellogg. Are you familiar with her?
Oh,
yeah.
Very big realtor. I was her lender. And Carol calls me and says, hey, I can't remember the client's last name, we'll say Jones. The Joneses are with their family at a payphone, this was a while back, and their truck is all packed, the U-Haul truck is packed, and they want to know when they're going to pick up their keys. And And since you told me we're not closing today, I'm going to let you call them and tell them why they're not getting the keys. Any questions?
Oh.
I go, okay. Thank you, Carol. So here's what I did. I called them that morning because we had some issues on the loan, and it was a busy day for me. Friday was just crazy. And I called him, and I left a message on his voicemail. Okay, saying, hey, there's a problem with funding. We're not funding today. I'm so sorry. It's not going to happen until Monday. And then I meant to call his cell phone or his work line too or whatever, but I just ran out of time because I was so darn busy. Okay? So there's a family at a payphone in a U-Haul truck, and I have to call them and tell them, you're home and you're going to sleep in a motel tonight or whatever with all your belongings and everything, right? They had like 2 kids. I mean, the nicest people in the world. That was like the worst phone call of my life. I can't think of much of a bigger screw up, right? It's almost, I hated that. I hated that, okay? That's the biggest failure I can think of as far as loans, and it's pretty bad. Now, what did I do? Of course, I paid for some hotel rooms. I paid for pizza when they moved in. I called Carol, and I fixed it, and I continued to work with Carol Kellogg. Why? Because we had a great relationship, and I fixed the problem, and I don't make the same mistake twice. You can imagine if it happened again, she'd probably say, bye-bye, Mr. Lender. She picked the wrong lender. Okay? So I fixed it, but that was an extreme screw-up, okay? Now, I will tell you, I'm a fairly successful loan officer because of my screw-ups. Okay? The book says you're going to have, Think and Grow Rich, an equal amount. It says, we must fail to be successful. Every failure brings with it a seed of equivalent or greater success. Okay? So I believe my success as a loan officer is because of all the screw-ups and failures I've made. Alright? I think you guys know what I'm talking about. What kind of training program does the real estate lending industry have? It's horrible. I graduated college, they shoved me in a conference room for 30 days, and then they said, go sell. That was my training. It took me 5 years to figure out what I was doing. I made a bunch of mistakes. So, do you guys have any big failures? Anybody want to share any? You don't have to. Yeah, right off the bat.
I was in the business about a year. I got these clients that he was a computer geek. I relied on that a little bit more than I should. They were up at Folsom. I was in Lincoln. I was busy that day. They wanted to put an offer in on a house, but he couldn't do it at the time that I was there at the house with him because his wife didn't see it. So I sent the offer over email. They are supposed to scan it off, sign it, and scan it out. I thought he was a computer person. I asked him if he could do that. Oh yeah, sure. They worked on it all night without telling me. And the next day he calls me and goes, I can't figure it out. And by the time I got to him, one, he put a too low offer in anyway, so he wouldn't have gotten it. But two, I could have ran over there in 45 minutes and got it signed. They didn't have to do that, but I thought that they knew.
Good one. Assumptions can be bad.
And I've never worked with them again. I mean, they just fired me right on the spot.
Thanks for sharing. Any other brave souls want to talk about your failures? Oh, there we go.
Yeah, I had a deal last year, helping them short sell a home. Husband and wife are getting, splitting up. And so I dealt with the Mrs. didn't speak a lot of English. And anyway, when it comes down to getting the deal closed, because she is mad at him or whatever, she doesn't sign docs. I mean, the money's in escrow, the buyer's got the money in escrow. And she doesn't sign docs, so they let it foreclose.
Oh, there's an expensive one. Good one. He gets the record so far. Anyone else? It's therapeutic. So I will tell you my suggestion, if I could give you all some homework, go fail. Go fail big. Okay? I'm being dead serious. Go out and do, if you want different results than what you've been getting in the past, go do something totally different. Anybody see the movie Tin Cup? With Kevin Costner in the golf movie? Remember when he loses his swing, he's putting his belt inside out, he's putting the hat in. Do everything different. Alright? What do we have to lose? nothing to lose I can think of. I mean, if you piss off your client, unless you're mean about it, like consciously hurt them, I mean, you're gonna be okay, all right? So have fun out there, get out and fail.
I have something that's printed on my desk. It's failure is like fertilizer. The more you have, the more you grow.
Yeah?
So every time you screw up, it's here I grow again.
There we grow again. I love it. There we grow again. Okay. Let's talk about this now. I promise we'll get a little more positive. What's your biggest roadblocks? I want you guys to take some time and write these down. What's your biggest roadblocks?
Myself.
What's keeping you from being more successful? Okay, I want you to think hard and be honest. Everything here is confidential. If you want to share, you can. But what's fear of being successful, I'm not smart enough, fear of making a mistake, fear of acceptance, fear I'm not a good enough salesperson, fear of failure. What are your biggest roadblocks? I thought these were interesting. These are all straight from the book. I didn't interpret any of these. I'm too young. Fear of being lonely. Fear of losing what I have. I'm not good enough. We all struggle with that one. I've read several books on that one. I'm too old. Fear of being criticized. Fear of dying. I'm not smart enough. Everybody have a couple of those? It's good to process this information, it really is. Just to think about it and acknowledge it. Because we all have fears. If you don't think you have a fear, you're wrong. You're just not aware of it. Alright? For me, I will tell you, fear of rejection is a big one. I'm much, much better at it than I used to be. That, and then I'm not good enough. I didn't believe that. No, I have a high self-esteem. Then I read a couple books on how I really feel about stuff. No, I worry I don't measure up. You know what I mean? I worry I don't measure up. Being aware of that helps me immensely. Because then I can have better talks with myself. Question?
No,
Oh, okay.
my biggest one is fear of the technology changes that happen.
Fear of technology changes. That's big. Anybody else have any fears they want to share? Roadblocks?
I second that one.
How do we get around it?
Ask someone to help us.
Hire somebody or delegate it? But at least
Yeah, you can't delegate that stuff.
be acknowledged of it head on. You can't delegate it.
Not and stay in touch with your clients, they want you to be there.
You can have an assistant do it.
No way.
I'm just telling you, there's people who do it.
I had one.
I have one once
That's
and I'll never
tense.
do it again. There's people who do it. So there's the fear of change, okay? Which I hate. I was talking to my coach, he said you have to reinvent yourself every 2 years. I'm like, come on. It takes me 2 years just to get everything about figured out. Get my system in place, got my assistant there, it's all working good, and then they change it again. They got a new app that comes out. MLS changes something.
Every week.
The key is, like, I will tell you, the reason I only have 15 CDs here, is my darn duplicator that I bragged about before, I forgot how to do it. So guess what I did this time? I wrote it down, and I put it in a place where I'll remember where it is. So there's ways to get around it, we just have to figure it out. Okay, so we have roadblocks. Talked about some failures, failed. I want to work on this one. This is a unique form. It's called your statement of desire. Have any of you completed this before? It's straight from Think and Grow Rich. You have completed it before?
Maybe 30 years ago.
Yeah?
Something like that.
So this is really cool. I like the format because I really believe in it. So we'll do just a quick one here because it takes a while to formulate this. But I'm telling you, this has had a huge impact on my life. Write out a clear, concise statement on the amount of money you intend to acquire. Name the time limit for its acquisition. State when you intend to give it, or state what you intend to give in return for the money, and describe clearly the plan which you intend to accumulate it. Because I believe in, call it karma, the universe, whatever you want to call, you've got to give something back. And I love how you do the statement of desire. So the first line is the exact amount of money I desire is. Let's say it's $50,000, $100,000, whatever it is. Come up with that amount. Okay? And write that in there. Remember, you can change it later. So let's say 2013. What do you want that amount to be?
You can do it by month, year, and lifetime career, right?
You can do that. I find it's easier for this to put a lump amount. Like I did one in 5 years, I will have this amount, but you could do a year. Or you could say to make $8,000 a month. It's up to you. The amount of money I desire is, and fill that in. Now here's the part I love the most. Step 2, determine exactly what you intend to give in return for the money that you desire. Example, I will give great client service to every client and making a positive difference in their lives. Or maybe it's by donating my time and working with children and the homeless in need, help my community. You guys can put there whatever is important to you. But the concept here is you're going to give something back in return for the money you're getting. Does that make sense? So I intend to give, and then just fill in the blanks. Any questions in that section? Anyone want to share what they intend to give back? Because a lot of times people may copy that or be thinking the same thing. You're all busy writing.
What was that?
Anybody want to share what they intend to give?
I was gonna give more effort towards better time management and, what was it? Building more relationships with my end clients.
So what does building more relationships look like?
What does it look like?
Yeah, like catering to them more, or
Putting on more effort,
yeah,
let them see that you're working hard for them.
cool. Anybody else? Mine is to focus on a positive difference, regardless of who I'm meeting with. Sometimes it's a cranky person, sometimes it's a young person. I mean, yesterday I had a family come in, and on paper they looked horrible. I mean, just like no chance you're ever going to buy a house. But I spent an hour and a half with them, putting a plan together. Maybe we can get them there 6 months, a year down the road, we'll see. But it was just really trying to make it fun and happy for them. So I tried to go the extra mile for them. Their kids got a little, there's a big drawer where they pick out a puppet to take home with them or a stuffed animal. You know what I mean? Try to make it fun for people. They say, wow, that was a fun experience. Because I gave them all kinds of bad news. You're not buying a house because of this, but here's a plan, let's put it together. So that's kind of like to get back for that. Okay. I will possess the money by, just put a date in. End of this year, 3 years, 5 years. And then my plan of action is, okay? This is an active statement. It's not just a goal, okay? So my plan of it, so my goal is to get $100,000. My plan of action is, number 1, I will call 10 people a day, every day, 5 days a week. And say, hey, can I be your realtor? That would be an action plan. You will pick the plans for you. I will hold at least 3 open houses a month. I will visit 3 professional business people a week. I will have 2 lunches a week with people that I know. I will mail to my database of at least 300 people once a month. I will get back to all Boomtown leads within 60 minutes of it hitting my email. You guys can pick the plan of action. Then sign it and date it. Okay? Now here's the key at the bottom, and I gotta tell you, I thought this was a little silly. I had to warm up to it. I do it by myself. I read this statement aloud twice daily, once before bed and once after arising in the morning. See and feel and believe yourself already in possession of the money. I went to a lot of the Tony Robbins stuff where he talks about your, I can't remember the word he used, neuro-linguistic or whatever, but if you get your body in the right sense and telling when you're reading out loud, it has a more likelihood to happen. So this is something that's posted on my mirror. I got one of these sentences on my steering wheel in my car, and then I got one on my nightstand in my bed, so I can see it and over all the time and be conscious of it. What's that?
I said I have statements in my office, on my wall in the bedroom, and on the mirror in the bathroom.
Yep, I think it's key. You're gonna get brainwashed with whoever you're on or whatever you're thinking about, so you might as well put good stuff in there. All right, any questions on this? This is way cool. I'd encourage you to spend some more time on it and really come up with it. Say it out loud in the night and in the morning. Okay. Last section here. I'm just saving you all the time from reading the book or highlighting it for you. So this is the 13 steps towards riches. Okay? These come straight from the book, and I grabbed each of them and just a little bit of information on each of them. So the first one is desire. Okay? Step 1, desire. I think you put that first. All of these bigwigs that he interviewed had desire. If you don't, I mean, that's kind of the fuel for everything. So, through some strange and powerful principle of mental chemistry, which has never been divulged, nature wraps up the impulse of strong desire, that something which recognizes no such word as impossible and accepts no such reality as failure. I mean, I could read that 10 times. So when I screwed up on that deal with Carol Kellogg, that really wasn't a failure. It was a stepping stone. I worked for her for like 5 years after that. I mean, you know what I mean? I learned from it and we got better at it. Okay? That was the key factor. I'm watching my son play soccer. He's like, he teaches me more, my son and daughter, than anybody. And there's like a minute to go and the score's tied. And he's like 9 years old. I mean, he's a pretty young kid. He's good. But anyway, and I see him, the game's about over, and he's talking to the ref during the middle of the game. I'm all, what are you doing? I'm like stressing out over there. So anyway, a little while later, he gets the ball, scores a goal, and they win. I'm like, oh, it was really cool. So after the game, I'm all, son, what were you doing talking to the ref? He goes, well, Dad, I didn't know how much time there was. Because I was going to steal the ball just before there's enough time and then score a goal in the game for us.
He has a plan of action.
And like, he doesn't, that's all he comprehended. You know what I mean? I wanted to say, well, son, you can't do that. I mean, let's be real. You could have missed, or, I could have said, no, there was no doubt in his mind what was going to happen. He's a crazy little guy. He's still doing it. But he had that desire, which I think is key. Number 2 is faith. A state of mind which may be induced or created. Repetition of affirmation of orders to your subconscious mind is the only known method of voluntary development of the emotion of faith. I thought about this a lot. A statement of faith. Thanks. Faith obviously has a religious overtone to it as well. But I got to thinking about, you go to church every Sunday, and they're kind of saying the same thing. And I think that's kind of what creates the faith. I don't want to cause an argument on religion, but I thought from an auto-suggestion standpoint or a repetition standpoint, you get a lot of good information typically when you go to church, and they're feeding that into you on a regular basis. So I thought that was interesting. So faith that everything's going to work out. Number 3, auto-suggestion. Okay? I think this is what Betty was talking about a little bit that she has posted all over her house. This is communicate the object of your desire directly to your subconscious mind in a spirit of absolute faith through repetition. You voluntarily create thought habits which are favorable to your efforts to transmute desire into its monetary equivalent. Okay? So, this is constantly reminding yourself of affirmations. I know this is nothing new. Okay? I mean, they knew it way back when. So they're constantly doing that. The book states our greatest weakness is our lack of self-confidence. Okay? I think a lot of us struggle with that at some degree. So I put in there the one from the book that he calls the self-confidence formula that he would read out loud. That's just interesting to me. I know that I have the ability to achieve the object of my definite purpose in life. Therefore, I demand of myself persistent, continuous action towards its attainment, and I here and now promise to render such action. That gives me goosebumps. Those are some powerful words. What would happen if you read that 5 times out loud all giddy and then went on a listing presentation? Betty, here's the listing agreement. I need you to sign here because I'm going to do your deal, right?
You betcha.
Might not be quite that much, but it might help us a little bit. Do you guys ever go through highs and lows in your day or week?
Never.
I do. I got a folder called kudos. Like every once in a while somebody will write me a nice letter or card like I'm the best, you're the best or whatever. So when I get the crud kicked out of me, I go back there and open a couple of those. Oh, Betty loves me. Oh, Gary loves me. You know what I mean? Whatever works for you. I got a couple of CDs I listen to. I got a couple of songs I listen to that just fire me up because I need it sometimes because I get down there a little bit. Read the above statement over and over aloud with feeling. These are the only words you can claim them in your emotion and make them yours. Okay? Day planner, bathroom mirror. Feel free to take something that's most important to you and just repeat it. Step number 4. Specialized knowledge. Knowledge becomes power when it is organized into definite plans of action and directed to a definite end. Any person is educated knows where to get knowledge when he needs it and how to organize that knowledge into definite plans of action. So be clear, knowledge is not good by itself. It has to be organized and put into a plan. Okay? What does specialized knowledge look like as you as real estate professionals?
Knowing how to use the computer.
Computer savvy? How about a short sale expert?
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean? Neighborhood specialist? I love Mike's stories. I mean, I go to Natomas and there's pads everywhere that says neighborhood specialist. I go to Folsom and there's pads up there that says neighborhood specialist. I mean, that's one of his gigs. So it's like he's got the perception of that specialized knowledge. Whether he does or not, I don't know, but he markets that very well. Okay, step 5, imagination. The impulse, the desire is given shape, form, and action through the aid of the imaginative faculty of the mind. We can create anything which we can imagine. God, I know we know this and it's kind of a repeat, but it's so, so true. Make an imagination map or a dream board. Have you guys heard of those?
Yeah.
Yeah.
This guy said this in 1937. Like 5 years ago, somebody told me about it. Wow, that's really cool, a dream board idea. I never heard of that. Maybe this guy got it from somebody, but I think most people got it from this book. Symbols are powerful and direct communication to our subconscious mind. When our mind receives a symbol, it does not ask how, why, or when. Symbols bypass the critical mind. Wow. You know, like most people are visual. I think that's why. I can get, the older they get to, I don't know why, if I read it or hear it, I don't quite get it. If I see a picture of it, I get it. You know what I mean? So my wife and I were trying to have a baby for 6 years. We went to the doctor, he prints out an x-ray, shows it to us and says, sir, you will never have kids because of this, this, and this. Which is not a nice thing to say to a couple, all right? I mean, my wife and I bawled our eyes out in the parking lot for like 2 hours. Anyway, I got this book, I did a dream board. And this, I forgot to bring it, it's laminated, it's big like this. In the center of it was this baby in the hand and then a picture of God behind it all glowing out. I put that puppy up there and I saw it every day. Well, my son was born like 13 months after that. Maybe it's a coincidence, I don't know. I called the doctor back, by the way. Okay? So my point is, these symbols are huge. You know what I mean? These symbols, they can bypass the critical mind. I'm fascinated with this stuff, why some people are successful and some aren't. I think we all get stuck in the critical mind. Something happens, oh, no, you can't do that, nope. You can't make 15 calls in a day and have a life. No, no, no. You can't, everybody's not going to like you. I don't know what it is. We all have those tapes going in our heads. but it's that critical mind we need to bypass, and that's why when they talk about the subconscious mind, I honestly think that's the secret. Anyway, okay. Step number 6, organized planning. It is the crystallization of desire into action. Desire from the abstract to the concrete into the workshop of the imagination, where plans for its transition are created and organized. These are huge sentences, okay? I have to read them 5 times just to get the meaning out of it. Not one of my favorite things to do, but you got to be organized. You got to spend some time planning. Step 7. This is a fascinating one to me. Decisions. I suffer from this. I don't know if any of you guys do. They did a 25,000 person study, disclosed the fact that lack of decision was the head of the list for failure. Further study revealed people who accumulated great riches have the habit of reaching decisions promptly and changing the decisions slowly if and when they were changed. People who fail to accumulate money, without exception, have the habit of reaching decisions, if at all, very slowly, and of changing decisions quickly and often. Boy, this resonates home for me. You know what I mean? I've seen people accumulate a lot bigger, more successful than me, make bad decisions all the time. But they're quick and they do it. And then if they have to fix it later or create it later, they will. Or I might still be over here going, well, gosh, I don't, maybe. One of my favorite realtors invited me over for dinner. This was like 10 years ago. I go to her house and there's like boxes of like announcement cards, just listed postcards, all this stuff. I'm like boxes, right? And what the hell is that? She's like, oh, see my picture? It looks horrible. So send it out. Well, I want to get a better picture taken. She never sent them out. She never will. She works for the state now. Okay? Get that stuff out. She wasn't a good fit for the real estate industry. But it's like the lack of a decision. And it's interesting when you're with clients, if you start to fumble a little bit with your decision, they lose confidence in you. Oh, no, this is how we handle short sales. Boom, 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 boom. You can go back and change it a little later if you need to. You know, every short sale, a little different, right? Like when you realtors call me for an answer, I'll give you one, or I'll say, hey, you know what? Betty, they're changing that again. Let me call and find out, because they keep changing these underwriting guidelines. Be very clear and get right back to her. Okay? But make the decision. If you're going to do a mailer, mail it out. It's okay if you screw up, right? We started off, Steve, I'm sorry you missed the beginning, your 3 biggest failures. We have to fail. We have to fail big if we want big success. Okay. Did I drive that in enough? I'm passionate about that one because I suffer. I continually have to work on that. Number 8, persistence. The power of will. Willpower and desire, when properly combined, make an irresistible pair. This will ensure the attainment of your objectives. Man, I know some really people, I'm going to say aren't smart, but they're so darn persistent, they're highly successful. You know, they just won't give up. Again, I got to talk about my son because he's so strong. When he was younger, we actually hired a counselor how to raise a strong little child because it didn't work. Trying not to. But anyway, he's like 12, and he's like, Dad, I want to go bowling. I said, we're not going bowling. Why not? I don't have enough money. I goes, well, Dad, I got $18 in my piggy bank. How about if I use that? Well, son, I don't have enough time either. Okay, what are you going to do, Dad? Live in the backyard, son. We got bushes. And how about if I help you mow the lawn, Dad, and then we go bowling? So like, he takes away all my excuses. The kid won't quit, right? I really don't want to go bowling. So we're in the car going bowling. And he says to me, Dad, I want $5 for video games before after we bowl. I'm going, look, I'm already paying for bowling. I'm not going to give you money for video games. Well, Dad, what if I? And he's going on and on. What if I? On and on and on. So he says, Dad, what if I guess the lane the guy gives us at the bowling alley? You give me $5? Yes, I'll give you $5. Okay. We went to Strikes in Roseville. There's like 100 lanes, right? So we get out there. And he didn't call on the phone or anything. I get there, we're getting our shoes, and the guy, he's having to get 1 or 2 lanes. I go, just 1 lane, and he's sitting there, and my son's off. And he told me in the car it was going to be like lane 23, right? He told me in the car. And he goes, here you go, sir, and it's 23. I swear to you, I'm not making up that story. I'm just handing him the cash. I don't know, because I know the guy. He's a little, I don't know, I think he just got lucky, but I think at his age, he wills it so bad. You know what I mean? Like a buddy of mine we played basketball together with, all he wanted to be his whole life was a basketball player, and all he cared about was height. He ended up being like 6'9". His parents are like 6'2", or his dad was like 6'1", and his mom's like 5'8". I mean, if you will something bad enough, I think it's going to happen a lot. Persistence. Number 9, the power of the mastermind. This is a big one. Organized effort is produced through the coordination of effort of 2 or more people who work toward a definite end in a spirit of harmony. Marketing group. I mean, this is collectively just putting your heads together, right? Getting 3 or 4 people together, discussing a topic. Okay? If you guys are not in one, I highly recommend them. Okay, step 10, I have to talk about it just because it's in the book, alright? The mystery of sex transmutation. I'll be honest, this is why I read the book the first time when I saw that chapter. Okay?
I've read that chapter twice.
Transmute means the changing or transferring of one element or form of energy into another. The emotion of sex brings into being a state of mind. When driven by this desire, men develop keenness of imagination, courage, willpower, persistence, and creative ability unknown to them at other times. When harnessed and redirected along other lines, this can be a powerful and creative force. I think about, this in many ways, like when you hear of murders, like sometimes it's over a woman or something like that.
Sometimes.
Well, no, they'll kill somebody, they'll put them in a boat, they'll anchor them, they do all that. It's like, where does that creativeness and energy come from? I don't mean to use a negative as a positive, but it's like, it's amazing, this energy. And when you harness it, as they're talking about, and put it into action, like I think, for example, it's not sex energy, but like if you really want to do something for your kids, you find the energy to do it. You know what I mean? You're transferring that. So, probably enough, we could talk about this more, but I'm going to go to the next step. Is that all right? Step 11. This could be the biggest of all of them. The subconscious mind. All right? Like, what are you thinking about when you're not thinking? You know what I mean? Or your dreams. I saw a thing on Nova about dreams the other night. The subconscious mind is huge. This is their definition. It's the chemical laboratory in which all thought impulses are combined and made ready for translation into physical reality. The subconscious mind makes no distinction between constructive and destructive thought impulses. The subconscious mind will translate into reality a thought driven by fear just as readily as it will translate into a reality, a thought driven by courage or faith. Okay, you guys get that? Subconscious mind doesn't judge, it's going to do what it's going to do based on what you put in there. So if you look at the handout in here, positive and negative emotions, there's 7 major positive and 7 major negative. Okay? Your brain's going to fill up with one of these, so it's basically saying you need to choose which one to put in here. The good, desire, faith, love, sex, enthusiasm, romance, hope. Those are the things you want to be thinking about all day. Not fear, jealousy, hatred, revenge, greed, superstition, or anger. Okay? Just making you aware of those. Now, the next page I want you to go to, filling your mind with positive emotions. Okay, so let's fill this out real quick. I think it always puts me in a good mood when I do this. Positive and negative emotions cannot occupy the mind at the same time. You can't be happy and sad at the same time. I've tried it. One or other must dominate. It is your responsibility to make sure positive emotions constitute the dominating influence of your mind. So let's complete the following sentence with positive statements and infuse them with positive emotions. Repeat them daily, aloud, to aid you in dominating your subconscious mind with positive emotions. So, today I choose to believe. Somebody throw something out.
We're going to have a great day.
We're going to have a great day. What else?
My escrow will close.
My escrow will close. Today I choose to believe all
People will
people
call
are...
and list their house with that.
There you go.
Today.
All people are good. They will list with me. People will like me. Today I choose to believe. It's a choice. Anything else?
It needs to always be in the present tense.
Yes. Today I choose to believe. Today. Starting now, I will. Work with me.
Work to get organized.
Work to get organized. Let's go a little more powerful. Starting now, I will.
Read positive books.
Read positive books. I will love everybody I come into contact with.
God,
You ever try to do that?
no way. No way.
I'm gonna tell you right now, I believe in energy management, and we only have so much energy each day, and I have totally come to the conclusion, when I carry a grudge or long against somebody, it takes away from me. I hate that. I've done there's a couple people in my life, I did forgiveness exercise 37 times. You gotta keep doing it, but I think I'm just about there. But you know what? Even I had a jerk this morning. This lady, she told me that I told her if she put 5% down on a conventional loan, she won't have mortgage insurance. I've been doing this for 22 years. Unless you put 20% down, you're going to have mortgage insurance. She was wrong. I had every right to fillet her. What'd I do? I'm so sorry for the miscommunication. I feel for you. Gosh, it's stressful buying a house. It really is. So, don't show her how. Let's set an appointment. I want to go over in person so we can walk you through line by line, because whoever you deal with, this is the rule. I love her. I said, you know what? She's scared as heck. Right? Scared as heck. So am I going to rip her for being rude to me? Like when a client says to me, this used to cause me to drink at night. I'm not kidding. I read on the internet the rate's 0.5% lower. I read in the newspaper after I did all this work for him. I'm all, how dare you question me? Don't you know I'm ethical? We're very competitive. Here's what they're saying. Gosh, I'm really scared. I'm worried I'm getting taken advantage of. Am I getting screwed? Would you just tell me why the paper says that on the internet? So that guy told me that once. I'm like, oh, you know, I'm sorry you didn't have to see that. Trust me, that's not a rate they can close on. They're just trying to get the phone to ring. That's all they're doing. 9 out of 10 people will go, okay. Before, I used to be, 3 days, I'd be upset with my kids, everybody, right? How can you challenge me? You're saying I don't know how to list a house? I know how to list a house. Okay. What I most desire is, today, what do you most desire? What I most desire is, what do you guys got? Throw some out of me.
These are mine.
More inventory, yeah.
What I most desire is accepted offers from my buyers. Again, you can go above business if you want. What I most desire is to feel love all day long, or to be happy. It's whatever you guys want to do. These are your statements, okay? I enthusiastically will. What?
Take care of all chores.
I'm sorry?
Take care of all my chores.
Take care of all my chores enthusiastically. All right? I'm going to feel good. No matter what I do today, I'm going to be enthusiastic about it. I enthusiastically will deliver bad news. Art, I'm so sorry, dude. Your offer didn't get accepted again, man. I feel horrible for you, okay? I just want to let you know, we're going to keep working on it for you. We're going to do everything we can. I called a couple friends of mine. We're going to look at some extra houses this weekend. So you didn't get this house, but I'm telling you, we're going to do everything we can to find you another one. Does that make sense? Okay, whatever it is for you. I am grateful for, this is probably the Big Mac Daddy of everything, good health.
Good health.
I find the more grateful people they are, the happier they are. And the more I want to hang around them. You know what I mean? If you can be grateful, and I know this is a little woo-woo, I'm sorry, I warned you at the beginning, but if you can be grateful for every single thing in your life, that's huge. I felt horrible, you heard about the 2 teenagers that died in Doloro? It's just awful, and somebody said it kind of nicely, they said, we don't know what it is, but there will be some good that comes of this. Okay? That's really all you can do. It may be years down the road, but if we can make some good of it, then it's possible to make that happen, huh?
Is that the same one that the 17-year-old was driving?
Yeah. Yeah.
The kid with the
Before
learner's
my
permit.
son.
Yeah, with this learning permit.
Died? Oh, yesterday was
None
only
of them can
2.
see those.
2 of them died, right?
That's what I heard.
Yeah, 2 I heard.
All 4
Yeah,
died?
one was in
No,
critical
only 2.
condition.
Only 2
13-year-old
died.
and a 17-year-old died. 2
No,
girls.
I just horrible.
Yeah.
Horrible.
Yeah, so
But-
don't give your kids the car keys.
Can there be some good because of it? It's tough. You know what I mean? There's 2 ways to look at it. Bitter, anger, hate. It's up to us.
More parents will be more vigilant about, giving them
Kids, right?
Yeah.
The reason they have rules for that, not letting them drive.
It may save lives of others.
Yeah.
So anyway, I positively believe that. Somebody help me.
Tomorrow will come.
Tomorrow will come. Hey, some people don't think it will. I positively believe that. My kids will grow up and be fine. I positively believe that. I will be successful as a loan officer for the next 10 years in this industry. I positively believe that. I will retire comfortably and not end up as a homeless person. I had a realtor who shared that was her biggest fear, and she kept bringing it up and up and
Oh
up.
my God.
And I said, if you keep bringing it up and up and up, you probably are gonna end up there.
That's right.
So, now, I'm gonna tell you, this is huge, okay? Here's what I did like 15 years ago. I filled these out, I laminated them, and I put them in my shower. I'm not kidding you. I'm shampooing my hair, and I just feel like going back to bed, it's like, one of mine was, what am I most grateful for today? I'm grateful for, I'm doing it. And I'm telling you, by the end of the shower, it was like feeding my brain right off the bat. You know what? I'm lucky too. Coffee came later. All right, questions on that? We spent a little bit of time on it, but I think that's key. If you do that every day, I'm telling you, it's going to fire you up. All right, number 12, the brain. Every human brain is both a broadcasting and receiving station for the vibration of thought. Every human brain is capable of picking up vibrations of thought which are being released by other brains. You ever meet somebody and you're like, I just kind of like that Dave guy, I'm not sure why. It's weird to me, and I've actually done some far out classes, or whatever you want to call it.
The other thing is to be thinking about somebody and the phone rings.
Yep, same exact
That was
thing.
in it all the time.
I believe in that. So, being aware of that, it's extra important to know what you're thinking because it affects others. There's been some studies where they can literally measure the vibrations of the brain's outgoing. It's crazy stuff. So I totally believe that. The Secret, you guys ever see that little movie? All right, so you guys are like mine.
They actually can measure before I married Bonnie, dated a gal that was a ICU nurse, and we went to a weekend class at UC Med, where they actually measured your aura. I mean, this is really metaphysical. They measured your aura, and then they had this device that actually showed color. And then they went around the room and they said, so, has anybody had an injury in 6 months? And blah, blah, blah. And it was remarkable. There was a nurse there that had like a black aura, and they were starting to talk about this person. It was outwardly positive, but very inwardly negative and sarcastic. I just was phenomenal. But measuring brainwaves.
Yep. You get clean in here, it radiates out. And if you're negative, it radiates out. I've met some people, I just don't like them. I can't tell you why. You know what I mean? I don't know. Maybe the brainwaves aren't connected. Okay, the last sense, the sixth sense. The last step, step 13, the sixth sense. That portion of the subconscious mind which has been referred to as the creative imagination, the apex of philosophy. Now we're going deep here. Through accessing infinite intelligence, we receive ideas and plans and thoughts that flash into the mind. These flashes are sometimes called hunches or inspirations. So I did some spiritual life coaching training and stuff, and it's almost verbatim they were quoting this stuff. They call it infinite intelligence. So we're getting a little far out now, but I do believe we have access to that, or we can have access to others who have gone before us. Any questions on that one? That's a big one.
It's also called collective mind.
Selective mind, yep.
Collective,
Yep.
collecting.
Okay, those are the 13 steps towards riches. All right, any questions on those? Let's be clear what they are. This is the study, a 20-year study that was completed in 1937 of this guy who spent 20 years going around interviewing the big dogs, like Ford, Edison, all those people, guys that had a little bit of brain. So, to me, I'm looking for the shortest learning curve possible. So I like to copy other people. That's why I copy these, and I continue to study and copy these. One last one I loved, I had to put it in there. Famous alibis by Old Man F. All right? Does anybody here ever use excuses for not having what you want? Dude, these are beautiful. I love these, okay? So I would have more money. Let's see here. If I didn't have a wife and family. If I had money. If I could get a job. If I only had time. If other people understood me. If I could live my life over again. If I weren't so fat. If I lived in a big city. If my talents were known. If I could only get out of debt. If I only knew how. If I didn't have so many worries. If people weren't so dumb. The other day, this was last week, I got home and I'm all, man, everybody was an idiot today. Everybody. I go, you know what that means, right? I'm the idiot. Everybody can't be. I'm sorry, maybe here and there. If I didn't have to work so hard. if I only had a business of my own, if I had a good enough education, if times were better, if conditions around me were only different. And if, in the bottom, and this is the greatest of them all, I had the courage to see myself as I really am, I would find out what is wrong with me and correct it. Then I might have the chance to profit by my mistakes and learn something from experience of others. For I know that there is something wrong with me, or I would not be where I would have been if I had spent more time analyzing my weaknesses and less time building my alibis to cover them. Guys, I think I'm really aware of it. I still fall into this once in a while. Oh, if I only, a guy on my team beat me again for the loan closings. Well, he's got a bigger team than me. He's got more assistants. If I have that, shut up. I can hire more. That's not an excuse. There's really no valid excuses, you know what I mean? So, questions on any of this good information? Interesting?
Yes,
Interesting.
very good.
The books Think and Grow Rich, I will tell you, probably even better than this, they did a workbook that goes with it. That kind of breaks down some stuff and disciples it. A lot of this stuff I stole from the workbook, I'm just telling you. Okay?
What's the name of the workbook?
It's the workbook for Think and Grow Rich. Literally, if you Google it and put workbook, it's 8.5 by 11, it's bigger pages, it's stuff for you to write in. I just love it. It's good stuff. So, today we talked about the why in the human brain. Why? Because all the tactics and systems aren't any good if our head's not screwed on straight. Make sense? Cool. All right, any questions? Interest rates are going which way?
Yeah.
I just want to make sure we're clear of that. I'm going to have to meet with the clients now and say, hey, I know I quoted you 3.5, they're now 3 3/4. So help your loan officers out. Just if the clients talk to you, go, yeah, our rates are going up a little bit. It's not healthy for them to go shop 5 different lenders. It's not in their best interest. It's not in yours. Okay? So just be aware of that. But other than that, we're still making lots of loans. Lots of loans. Underwriting is good.
How are the appraisals coming in?
Surprisingly interesting, Betty. I just had one yesterday come in $5,000 high. A few months back, we were struggling a little bit, but as of right now, they seem like they're doing pretty good. I mean, we're hearing on the radio 12% appreciation this year. We had appreciation last year, so I'm very, very encouraged. Okay?
It was 18% in Sacramento County according to Veronique, remember? 21% in Placer,
Yeah.
41% in Solano.
Isn't that crazy? So we're in a great market. It's time to be excited and tell people this. By the way, if you have comps for your appraiser, how do you make sure your appraiser gets them?
Take the lockbox off the house.
Thank you. I just want to make sure you guys get that, because appraisers don't want to meet you guys. They'll sneak in there like at 12 o'clock at night if there's a lockbox on there. Take it off and put must-see listing agent. But other than that, no, appraisals, they've been nice. I haven't had too many complaints.
Is there any more CDs? Or are they gone?
What's that?
CDs, are they gone?
For today?
Is there another CD?
Oh, there's an extra one over here.
Oh, yeah, here's one over here. Sorry, I had problems with my CD player. My $500 duplicator. Gosh, Betty, I'm with you. I get a little stressed out when that stuff doesn't work like it should. I know my hourly rate, and I spent 2.5 hours last night on this. I'm like, that was a lot of money it just cost me. That's another story. All right, any questions? Have a great week, guys.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you.